Welcome, everyone. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a member of the HEAL Data Stewardship Group. I want to thank you all for joining us today for this installment of our Fresh Fare webinar series titled Completing the HEAL PI Checklist, Guidance for Every Stage of Your Award's Life Cycle. Today's webinar will feature presentations from two speakers, followed by office hours. The webinar portion of today's presentation is being recorded and will be shared with all registrants. We ask that you hold all research project specific questions for the office hour portions of the webinar. Today's objectives are to introduce the HEAL data ecosystem, also what we call the HDE, and its data sharing policies and requirements, to highlight the support available from the HEAL stewards and the HEAL platform teams, to demonstrate the PI checklist tracker tool and how it helps with data sharing compliance, and also to host office hours and breakout rooms for hands-on assistance with questions related to NIH and HEAL data sharing requirements. Before we begin the presentations, I'm going to provide a brief overview of the HEAL data ecosystem. HEAL is a large cross-NIH initiative with diverse data management and sharing needs. To best support our many HEAL investigators and research teams, we've developed the HEAL data ecosystem, a data platform and semantic search tool that leverages metadata to connect information across various repositories, which ensures compliance with NIH data sharing policies and requirements. In our system, data are shared in HEAL compliant repositories, which are carefully selected to meet the various needs of HEAL researchers. The HEAL data platform enables discovery and access across these repositories by making study level metadata and variable level metadata searchable in one central location. Using metadata in this way helps us to maintain flexibility while building value and harmonizing efforts across the initiative. This ultimately supports future secondary data analyses and ensures that data can be shared responsibly and efficiently. The HEAL data ecosystem has many resources to help investigators and their teams participate in the HEAL data ecosystem. One of the most helpful guides in this checklist is for HEAL compliant data. It walks through key data management and sharing considerations for study teams to keep in mind throughout the life of an award. It also includes resources and it highlights steps specific to participating in the HEAL data ecosystem, including a few very HEAL specific activities that you will hear more about shortly. The HEAL PI checklist is interactive, so HEAL supported investigators, program officers, or anyone interested in a study's data sharing progress can search by an award number and check its progress. There are some nuances and considerations around data sharing depending on the award, so please reach out to us if you have any questions about the status of any steps of your tracker progress. The HEAL data ecosystem teams are here to help. There are two teams that support the data ecosystem. The HEAL data platform team is housed at the University of Chicago. The HEAL data stewardship group is composed of team members from the Renaissance Computing Institute at UNC Chapel Hill, as well as our members at RTI. Members of both teams are going to present today on how they support researchers at each step of the checklist and will be available for the office hours following this presentation. Today's presenters are Dr. Brianna Larrick and Gabby Peterson. Dr. Brianna Larrick is the Senior Scientific Project Manager at the University of Chicago Center for Translational Data Science. With 8 years of scientific program and project management experience in the nonprofit and academic sectors, Dr. Larrick serves as project manager of the HEAL data platform. Her background is in preclinical research, focusing on cellular and animal models of metabolic chronic disease. Gabby Peterson is a research project manager at Renzi, supporting the HEAL Stewards team. She works closely with groups managing data and coordinating centers to ensure compliance with HEAL data sharing requirements, helping to facilitate effective data management and promote research transparency. At this time, I will turn the presentation over to Dr. Brianna Larrick.
All right, thank you, Sarah. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. As Sarah mentioned, I will be talking through the items on the HEAL Investigator checklist that involve your interaction directly with the HEAL data platform. So there are several items boxed here, and we'll start with the ones on the left: registering your study on the platform, completing your study level metadata form, and then reporting your repository selection to the platform. The purpose of the next several minutes as we run through this slide is to give you an overview of what these steps look like and why we're asking you to do them. And then if you'd like hands-on support with these, we strongly encourage you to hop into the office hours portion of the presentation after, or of this session after the presentation, and we can help answer questions and help you check all the boxes here on the checklist. So starting with registering your study on the platform, I'll go through this quickly so you have some familiarity with it, but ultimately there are 3 steps to registering your study. And the reason we ask you to do this is so that we can send you a form that you can fill out to submit your study level metadata. So when you come to register your study on the platform, you're going to go to healdata.org, locate your study record. You can search by project title, by NIH project number, by the PI's name, and you click the button at the top that says request access to register. You're saying, hey, this is mine and I'd like to interact with this study. While our team is approving your request, you're going to go over to the CEDAR platform. We use this for study level metadata, and I'll talk more about that shortly, but you're just going to click the new user register button at the bottom if you haven't done this already, and you're going to create an account. The third step to registering is coming back to the platform, and once our team has approved your request, you can click the register this study button. And this is where you'll take your study record on the platform, your CEDAR account that you just made, and connect the two. So when you click that button, what you'll see is a form here, and you're going to give us your user identifier from CEDAR, and that's how we make that connection. So you click this Get CEDAR UUID button. This brings you over to the CEDAR platform. You can click the profile or user icon in the upper right-hand corner, and all we need from you is this UUID number, this whole string of characters. Just copy paste that right into the form, and that's how we'll link your account with your study on the platform. If you're conducting a human subject study and you have a clinicaltrials.gov ID, give us that number and we'll use the Clinical Trials API to pre-populate some study level metadata for you. And then at this time, if you know your data repository and if you've already shared data and have that identifier from the repository, you can pop those pieces of information in there as well. If you don't know those, that's totally okay. Go ahead and register anyways. We encourage people to do this step early after receiving their award. Okay, there we go. And one note is if you know where you'll be depositing your data, but you're actually going to be depositing in multiple repositories, say your qualitative data are going to QDR, you've got some things going to GitHub, you have some quantitative data going elsewhere, no problem. This list only selects one or accepts one repository selection. Go ahead and email us with the rest and we'll add those for you on our end. Okay, so now that you've registered your study on the platform and you've given us your unique user identification number for CEDAR, we've shared a form with you, and you can now go to the CEDAR website and fill that out. So this is submitting the second item on the checklist that's related to the platform. This is submitting your study level metadata. This is information about your study, and we use this for search and filtering on the platform, as Sarah mentioned. We're not asking for data. You don't need to have finished or even started data collection yet. It's just what are the characteristics of your study, and we'll use those for search and filtering. So you'll go to cedar.metadatascenter.org, click the shared with me button, and you're going to see your study there. This is your NIH application number, that string of numbers right there, and your study title. When you open that up,
Have a good
oh, if you could make sure you're muted, that'd be great. When you click on the form, you're going to see your study level metadata form here. This is a bunch of select one, select all that apply, some multiple choice, yes or no type questions. It takes about 20 minutes or so to fill out, not that long, but it really helps people when they come to the platform to search for studies and for data sets to find what they're looking for. Oops, here we go. Okay, and some tips as before we move on from CEDAR. Tips for completing the form: save early, save often. The CEDAR platform has a lot of great qualities to it. Autosave is not one of them. There is no autosave feature. They do have a big save button at the bottom of the form. If you're going to get up and walk away from your desk, go ahead and click that first. The second is you can collaborate. You can delegate. You can take the 20 minutes and fill it out yourself. All of that works with us. And if you come to the breakout rooms after the presentations, or if you read through our documentation, or send us an email, we'll tell you how to share that form with colleagues. Anybody that is familiar with the proposal that you submitted to NIH can help fill this out. And I've mentioned, and I will continue to mention, we are here to help. You can visit our documentation or email us at heal-support@gen3.org. Okay, so that is the activities on the left. Now I'm going to shift to these two on the right, submitting variable level metadata and then submitting your data to a repository. Okay, so I'll take a moment and say, when we talk about variable level metadata, what we mean here is information that helps people understand and make use of the data that you're generating as part of your study or over the course of your study. So it's the things that are found in a code book or a data dictionary, but by submitting them or forming them into a specific format, complying with the HEAL variable level metadata schema, you're just putting them into a standardized format so that it helps with combining multiple data sets across studies and enables search in a standardized way. So we have a few ways you can go about generating your variable level metadata. You can start from scratch using a template that we have on GitHub. We have CSV and JSON templates. If you have an existing data dictionary or codebook file or something you've exported from REDCap, you can pop that into our HEAL VLMD tool, and it will output for you HEAL compliant variable level metadata. So it's pretty easy to use. We have this tool available in HEAL workspaces. So you can launch a workspace on the HEAL data platform. The tool is already there and ready for you to use. You can also download the tool to your local computer if you want to use it there. And then finally, if you don't want to use the tool, don't want to use the template, you can email your data dictionary to healstewards@rensi.org, and they will help you with the conversion from your data dictionary to HEAL compliant VLMD. And our user services team is fantastic. Please email us at any time if you have questions utilizing our resources or tools. Okay, once you have your variable level metadata file, submitting it to the platform is easy. You come back to your study record on the platform. You've already registered it. So this button at the top, instead of saying register the study, says submit variable level metadata. When you click that, you're going to see a short form. You upload your data dictionary file. You give it a name that is helpful to people who will come across your file on the platform. And then you just give us your name and email in case we have questions or need to contact you about what you've submitted. You can submit as many data dictionaries or variable level metadata files as you'd like. Just submit the form, as many times as you need. The second piece of this is if you are conducting a human subject study, you'll see at the top also a Submit CDEs tab. If you're utilizing HEAL common data elements, we have a very easy way for you to submit variable level metadata. You come to this form, Submit CDE, check the boxes of the instruments that you're using. We have core CDEs listed at the top. The supplemental ones you can search for in the box below. This is a check all that apply. You can check, uncheck, whatever you need. When you submit your selections, we will automatically associate the variable level metadata for each of these instruments with your study on the platform. That's a very easy way to get high quality HEAL compliant VLMD with your study on the platform. The two notes for this are, this obviously applies to human subject studies only. The second piece is, if you are a pain study and you are already submitting this information to the HEAL CDE team at the University of Utah, we are not asking that you do this again. We're not asking you to submit any information twice. We're working directly with that team to get the information you've already submitted. So if you've sent this already, we have it. We're right now working to reflect that on the platform. But if you're not a pain study and you haven't submitted that information, you're not required to submit it to the HEAL CDE team, just come over to here, click the Submit Variable Level Metadata button on your study record, and then tell us which ones you're using. Okay. Finally, submitting data to a repository. We've put together guidance for investigators. We're really trying to, for first-time data submitters, second-time, third-time, people who are new and still having questions about, like, what exactly should I be sharing? When should I be sharing it? You know, those sorts of things. We put together guidance that answers these questions: what to share and when, what is required, like what are the minimum items, what do I need to share to be in fulfillment of my data sharing requirements? What are some additional best practices, little things I can do to increase the analytic value of what I'm sharing? We talk about recommended file formats for human subject studies. We have notes on de-identification. We made this to be concise, to address the most common data sharing use cases, so that it has what you need. It has only what you need. You don't need to time block 4 hours to get through this. It's a pretty nice piece of guidance here. We really encourage you to come take a look. We think it'll answer your data sharing questions. And if it doesn't, we would love to hear from you. This is going to be a living document. We're going to update it over time. We'll send the links out. The links to this will be included in the slides, and we encourage you to check it out. And then finally, you've created a data package, you've submitted to a HEAL repository. How do you get your data linked to the platform? That part's easy. You email us. You say, hey, here's the link to my data at such and such repository. We say, thanks, we'll add it for you, and that's it. So that part couldn't be easier. We just need to know, what's your study and give us the link to your data. Okay, I think this is my last slide here. So the resources that I've talked about, we have documentation for generating, using the tool, using the templates, for generating and then submitting your variable level metadata. We have examples of valid and invalid VLMD files if you want to take a look at those to get a sense, of what your VLMD should be looking like. And then that guidance for data sharing, we have the link here. And then in all of this, please feel free to email us at any time, heal-support@gen3.org, or visit us in the breakout rooms after the presentation, and we are happy to help. All right, and with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Gabby.
Thanks, Brianna. Sarah's going to queue up the slides for me. So, hey, everyone. My name is Gabby Peterson, and I am a member of the HEAL Stewardship Group at RENC. For my portion of today's presentation, I'll be walking you through steps in the HEAL PI checklist where the stewards can provide direct support. Next slide. We understand that navigating NIH data sharing and management requirements can be complex, and our goal, along with the platform team, is to make that process as smooth as possible. The HEAL stewards are here to support you with the key steps outlined in the boxed section of the PI checklist as shown here. This includes helping you select a repository and reporting your selection via the HEAL data platform, using HEAL's common data elements to collect your study data, and submitting data and metadata to a repository. We've developed a set of tools and resources like templates, guidance documents, and other materials to help move you through each step efficiently and confidently, ensuring your study remains compliant with NIH data sharing and management policies. In addition to these tools and resources, the stewards are happy to schedule a consulting call to further discuss any item on the HEAL PI checklist. You can schedule a consult by submitting our Connect With Us form, which we'll drop a link to in the chat. Next slide. One of the most common questions we get from PIs is how to select the right repository for their study. To help with this, the HEAL stewards created a searchable table on the healdatafair.org website. The repositories listed here have been reviewed and approved based on HEAL's data repository selection principles, which prioritize fair practices, making data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. You can filter the repository table by column headings to narrow down based on characteristics such as data type or funding IC. And some considerations such as cost, access controls, or file format compatibility may not be included in this table. And that is where a one-on-one consult with the HEAL stewards can be especially helpful. If you have more questions about selecting a repository, please stick around for the office hours immediately following this presentation, and one of our subject matter experts will be available to support you. Next slide. We've also developed a repository selection tool, which is a quick questionnaire that helps guide you to a recommended HEAL compliant repository based on your study characteristics. It's a great starting point, especially if you're unsure where to begin or if your study might involve multiple data types. Just answer a few questions and the tool will generate a list of suggested repositories that align with your answers. Again, if you have more nuanced questions, such as how to handle multi-repository submissions, data access controls, or file format compatibility, please don't hesitate to schedule a consult with the stewards. We're always happy to help. And finally, as Brianna mentioned earlier, once you've selected a repository, don't forget to report your selection either through the platform or directly to the stewards so we can keep everything aligned and up to date. Next slide. Another common question we get from HEAL investigators is about the use and implementation of HEAL Common Data Elements, or CDEs. If you're unfamiliar, CDEs are standardized terms for the collection and exchange of data. They help define what data to collect, your variables, how to collect it, like response formats or skip logic, and how to represent those responses, response coding. As mentioned, for clinical pain research studies funded by the NIH HEAL initiative, using a core set of CDEs is required. However, any study, regardless of topic, can choose to use HEAL CDEs. Even if your study isn't pain-related, reviewing the HEAL CDEs can be incredibly helpful when you're deciding what questionnaires to use or how to structure your data collection. Aligning with existing CDEs means your data will be more comparable to other HEAL-funded studies, making it easier to participate in future secondary analyses and cross-study harmonization efforts. We'll drop a link in the chat to more information about the NIH HEAL CDE program. Next slide. And if you'd like to learn even more about common data elements, we encourage you to check out the metadata resources page on healdatafair.org. Here, you'll find a helpful overview of the different types of metadata used within the HEAL data ecosystem, including study level metadata, variable level metadata, and of course, CDEs. The CDE section also links directly to the official NIH HEAL CDE page and includes clear expectations of how metadata supports data discovery, interoperability, and harmonization across studies. It's a great place to start if you're new to these concepts or just need a quick refresher. And remember, you don't have to navigate this alone. The stewards are here to help guide you through how to best apply CDEs in your study context. Now, speaking of metadata, another checklist item we often get questions about is the submission of a data dictionary to describe your study's variable level metadata, or VLMD. Next slide. Oh, sorry, one more, if you go back. Yep, perfect. If you're not familiar with the term, variable level metadata, or VLMD, refers to the detailed descriptions of each data point collected in your study. Things like variable names, labels, definitions, response options, and units. To support you with this step, we've put together a quick guide on variable level metadata, which you can also find on the metadata resources page. It includes links to additional tools and examples, past webinar recordings, and the VLMD materials Brianna referenced earlier in this presentation. Next slide. When it's time to submit your data and metadata to a repository, there are several resources available to support you. First and foremost, start with the repository itself. Most HEAL compliant repositories have help desks, submission guides, and FAQs that walk you through their processes. You can also reach out to your institution's data librarian or curation team for additional support. And of course, the HEAL data ecosystem offers guidance, including tools, templates, and a dedicated stewards team to assist with questions. At the time of your data deposit, be sure to inform the repository that your study is HEAL funded and share your repository's unique identifier, such as a DOI, with the stewards and/or platform team so we can help track and link your study across the ecosystem. We will also have a breakout room during office hours specifically focused on data packaging, so stick around if you'd like help with that step. And finally, we'll put a link in the chat to a data packaging resource created by the platform team to help guide you through this process. Next slide. So what else can the stewards help with? We're here to support you across multiple parts of the data lifecycle, especially when it comes to aligning your work with HEAL compliant practices. This includes helping you understand how the checklist for HEAL compliant data and how these requirements apply to your specific study or data set, clarifying HEAL data ecosystem policies, requirements, and expectations, guiding you through the checklist steps for sensitive data types, which can be tricky to navigate on your own, offering support in applying best practices for open science and fairness, and connecting you to the right people, tools, and resources for data sharing. No matter where you are in the process, we're here to provide personalized, practical guidance. And next slide. Lastly, I want to highlight where you can find everything we've talked about today. This is the landing page for the HEAL Stewardship Group website, which you can visit at healdatafair.org. It's your central hub for all things HEAL data management and sharing, whether you're looking for guidance on the PI checklist, CDE resources, metadata templates, repository selection tools, or past webinar recordings. It's all here in one place. Bookmark it, explore it, and let us know if you need help navigating any of the tools or resources listed. And with that, I'll pass it back over to Sarah.
Thank you, Gabby, and thank you as well to Dr. Larrick for your presentations today. The HEAL stewards and the HEAL data platform team have a variety of resources available. Please connect with us at any time to ask your questions or to set up a consultation. In addition, resources listed here on this page will also be included in the follow-up email. There are 2 upcoming workshops that we wanted to highlight today. Using the HEAL workspaces to access and analyze HEAL data is a free online hands-on workshop to provide a general overview of the HEAL data platform workspaces, including a detailed demonstration of how to access and analyze data. This will be held tomorrow, Friday, May 16th, 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. In addition, there is an upcoming workshop on Thursday, May 22nd to discuss pipelines to support archiving and analyzing HEAL CDE data using the NIMH Data Archive. This is also a free online hands-on workshop to demonstrate the pipelines that are created for preparing data for submission to the NIMH Data Archive, also known as NDA. HEAL study teams intending to submit CDE data to NDA will find this workshop to be helpful, as will anyone working with HEAL CDE data. We thank you for joining us today. We hope that you now understand that the HEAL data platform team and the HEAL data stewards are available to support you in meeting your HEAL data ecosystem data sharing requirements, that you are aware of how to use the checklist for HEAL compliant data, and to understand your responsibilities and to monitor your study's status, that the HEAL data platform assists with study registration, metadata submission through CEDAR, and documenting repository selection and data deposition. And HEAL stewards are here to provide guidance on repository selection, the use of common data elements, metadata submission, and data management best practices. So before we move to the office hours, we'd like you to go to the checklist for HEAL compliant data and determine where your study is in the checklist process. This may aid you in deciding which of the office hour breakout rooms are the best beginning fit. Room A will be covering registering your study on the platform and how to complete the CEDAR form. Room B will cover questions about data repository selection for your HEAL funded study. If you have not chosen your repository, this may be the best breakout room to start with. Room C will cover variable level metadata and data dictionary development questions. Room D will focus on data packaging questions. You can choose the breakout room that best fits your needs. Once inside, your facilitator will guide you through the session format, and if at any point you would like to switch rooms, please return to the main room and our team will assist you in switching to a different breakout room. If you have any trouble at all moving from a room to a room, simply drop your preferred room in the chat and one of the HEAL stewards will ensure you get where you need to go. Please note that once we move to the breakout rooms, we will not reconvene in the main room. Office hours will conclude directly from the breakout sessions. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are now going to stop the recording and open the breakout rooms.